Welcome to Two Souls Podcast, a podcast to shift, impact, empower, and disrupt your consciousness, ultimately allowing you to thrive in this human experience. Now here are your hosts, Amber Meganhauser and Angela Blaha. Welcome everyone to Two Souls Podcast. I'm Angela.
I am Amber. Hello, good morning, everyone. So happy for everyone to be here. What is our topic for today, Angela?
Well, how about if we talk about what you project out to the world will show up in others? Ooh, can you feel the energy of that? It's like, ew, right? So let's talk about that. Like what you project out to the world does show up in your family. It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in your coworkers. It shows up in your career. It shows up everywhere, right? So what you're projecting out to the world, you need to be conscious of. You need to have a huge, big, giant awareness about what kind of emotion you're spewing out there, about what words you're using, about your energy. We've been talking about how important it is to know and understand your energy, your vibration, your frequency. And I think it's becoming very, very clear that what you are projecting out there, we say that it comes back to us, but it does more than that. It shows up in the people around you, the people that you love, the people that that you work with, the people everywhere. It shows up.
Yes, absolutely. And even in, clients you have, doesn't matter what kind of profession you have, if you pour all your love and everything you have and that positive vibes into everything, you're going to have amazing results. But if you pour in the crappy day you're having or the bad attitude you have about something that happened previously in your day, guess what? That person you're working on or that food you're creating or that projects into them and has a very negative effect. And I think people aren't aware of what they're actually projecting to others.
Right. So this is what we consider to be entanglement, right? Like this is how entanglement happens when we get entangled with other people, or we get entangled with clients, however it works. This is entanglement, but it's entanglement in a real negative way because we're very unconscious about it. And we don't really have, we're not really even being aware about what the heck we are doing. So this is entanglement in the most negative ways that we can possibly experience life is by just, and the worst part about that is we take on that energy that's being projected, right? Like we just don't even think about it, right? Like we don't even think that this is not my energy. This is somebody else's energy. Why am I being like this? It's like walking into the room and you know that there's a bad vibe in a room and you take that on. It's the exact same way with everything else in the world. But this is you saying, okay, I'm going to take this on, because if you have some conscious awareness about it and you know that it's actually happening, but you're not actually like holding space for that person or giving it back to that person, and you're actually taking it on, that is an atrocity that you do to yourself.
Yes.
So I know that you've had an experience with it. So do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So I guess I have a couple different experiences actually, I think one thing that years and years ago, I actually had gotten my hair done. And the particular woman that I had went to that day was just having a super off day. She had a lot going on in her personal life. And I didn't really think much of it. And so she kind of was talking about this as she was fixing my hair. And th- that, I mean, what happened was everything that she was going through in her life, like that's exactly like what happened to my hair. My hair was like chaos, and I was just like, okay. And I didn't even realize it right at first, but until I became more aware of how that kind of stuff happens, it kind of came up today, and I was just like, hey, like that actually really did happen. So like what people, how they're feeling, like
Mm-hmm.
it can project into other people without you even realizing it. How can you be at your best to perform for a client, or like even our food that we make at our eatery? We pour tons and tons of love into that, and
Mm-hmm.
our food is phenomenal for it. And if you actually had somebody cook something side by side, let's say you had the exact same dishes side by side, and you had somebody with uh, like in that frame of mind, the negative attitude, a lot of stuff going on, just mad at the world. And that dish is going to reflect that. It's going to taste that. And they could be made exactly the same, but it will taste horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you taste the exact same dish, like just poured with tons and tons of love into it, it is going to taste absolutely phenomenal. So there's so much energy that goes into everything that we do. We don't even realize, like when you are in that state of mind, like that you're actually pouring that into other people, that you are feeding them or working on them or talking to them. Like you are projecting everything we don't want in this world. We everybody's
Mm-hmm.
sick of the negativity. Everybody wants to be better. And when you can project positive things into somebody and change their day and help them have a better day. And I don't know, we've had so much experience with the eatery too. Like people, like they can taste the love in our food, and
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely phenomenal. And that's how you stand out different from people too, because that's what we are projecting. We are
Yes.
trying to teach people to use love in everything that they have. And it's not just about the food, it's about the experience with it. So you can either have that really bad experience, or you can have a really great experience. So I think people just need to be more
Mm-hmm.
aware of what they are projecting to others, because others do take that on, and some people don't know how to shut that off or give people back their energy. So then there
Right.
you are having a crappy day for the rest of the day because somebody else projected their crap onto you. So I think
Mm-hmm.
being aware of every situation that you're in, to say, am I taking on somebody else's energy, or I'm not going to allow this into my world, and transform it before it even happens. And maybe that person will start to, pour the love into everything that they have, instead of that negativity or the crappy day that they're having.
Yeah, for sure. And just so everyone knows, Amber's dog had 10 puppies, and
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, they've been so quiet. I'm
they're
like,
going
what is
crazy today. So that's fun.
happening?
Hey, they just want to be in on the event. No worries.
I'm I know.
Yeah.
I
So
was so worried about that too. So I was really hoping they were going to be quiet while we recorded. And I'm
no,
like, they're so loud right now.
it's all right. It's good. We actually had that happen this week at the eatery. A gentleman came in and brought a client with him, and they had a little meeting in the space. And he said that they normally go to like a gas station or something across the street or someplace. And he said, I just love what you guys are doing here. I love the energy. I love the vibration. And so we came over here to eat. And it was we were like, yes, this is actually working. And people are actually noticing. And this is actually how we shift the consciousness, right? Like, this is how we do it. It was very late in the year last year when we sort of got this message of you have to start feeding people and giving them the the energy through food, because that's how we're going to shift the consciousness so much that the shift can actually happen, because we really need to meet about 1 billion people in order to make this shift in consciousness into the fifth dimensional kind of energies and frequencies or beyond, and actuality. And so that's pretty much why we went into business together, and why we're here doing what we're doing, is because it is this essential part of us as a human race that really can shift our awareness without us even, like, it will shift the body, and when the body shifts, the mind shifts. When the mind shifts, the emotions shift, right? And when that all opens up a bit, then the spirit comes in more, the soul comes in more, and we can be our God selves more. And so that's really what we're doing here, is shifting the awareness component. But really, part of being aware is knowing what you are projecting out into the world. And I think that that's really become our mission, and our purpose is to, like, bring that into everyone's consciousness, right? Like, bringing that kind of component, like, what are you doing here? Where are you being responsible for your own actions, your own thoughts, your own emotions? And what are you doing to others while you're either being conscious or unconscious? We have so much unconsciousness and greed and manipulation and domination and control in our world right now, that the more that we can awaken people to, what are you projecting? What are you feeding yourself? What are you flowing or resisting? You know, what are you doing? What's your mission and your purpose here? And where's your responsibility for that? We need to be spending 100% of our time towards our mission and our purpose here, because that is what will shift the consciousness. Being hyper aware of what you're projecting, that creates this structure, right? Like, that creates the structure of who you're becoming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is, I am so sorry about these puppies. I'm just like,
No, don't
what
worry.
the heck?
They're cute.
I think that's what it is all about too. Like, people just aren't aware of what they are projecting, and they're not holding themselves accountable to, what, we are all here to change the world. We're all here to evolve. We're all here to be the best person that we could be. And I don't think I shouldn't say anybody, I think a good portion of society doesn't hold themselves to them standards, and also project them standards to other people, because you are what you project. You bring in what you project, and the more good you can project, the more good comes into your life. The more you can change, the more you can help, the more you can do to help the whole society as a whole, and live an amazing life instead of, in total misery. I think that's just it. Like, people don't want to admit either that, there is, like, that really miserable life. And I think so many people just kind of, like, mask it and pretend like it's not happening. And then, but in reality, all you're projecting is the misery, because nothing hides behind the mask. It still comes out in the words you speak and the actions you have.
And just your energy, just your, not, like, how many people go through life just going through life, right? And they don't even
A
care.
lot.
They don't even have, they don't have
Any
a feeling one way or the other. They don't set intentions for themselves in the morning before they get up. They don't set, intentions for their week or the month or the year. Like, we're just so unconscious. And it's time to stop doing that. It's time to be conscious, and it's time to know and understand yourself from the inside out. And it's time to be God, the God self. It's time to see yourself equal to humanity, to the earth, to the cosmos, to God, to whatever, the creator, all of it. Because that's how you change. That's how you change the world. That's how we change consciousness. That's how we grow and expand. If we aren't seeing ourselves as creators, then we'll never be a creator, right?
No.
So we have to start doing those things. I mean, if our listeners, if you are not being hyper aware, hyper conscious, being the creator of your life, then you're listening to the wrong podcast, because you need to start doing these things. I mean, we have been encouraging this for over a year now, and it actually needs to be the way that you live your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think being in awareness is the key, being in awareness with everything you do. It's not just what you project either. It's also the things that you receive. When you walk into somewhere, a lot of people can feel vibes, but I think that if everybody took that, and every time you walked in somewhere, you actually noticed, okay, how does this place feel? Like, what type of experience am I going to have here? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be not as good? Is it going to be fabulous? Is it going to be amazing food? Is it going to be the best hairdo I ever had my whole life? Like, you can feel that vibe the minute you walked in, and I think if people paid more attention to that little bit of awareness the minute in everything you did, every room you walked in, every person you talked to, like, you would understand that, oh, this is the experience for right now. That was a great experience. You define different experiences. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to A&A Eatery to have lunch. That's not what it's about anymore. It's about coming into
Right.
our facility and having an experience, just like the gentleman said to us that day. Like, it actually was kind of crazy the day that the gentleman came in and had that meeting there, because um we tried when we first started this, we actually thought it was going to be geared toward a lot of women, and we have tons and tons and tons of men that come in and like have this amazing experience in our place, which it was a little bit mind-blowing for like these gentlemen to say that day. And he said to us that, like, yeah, I usually go somewhere else, but I came here the other day, and the experience I had in your facility made me want to come back. And I'm like, that is exactly what we are going for, because that's what life is about every day having amazing experiences.
Exactly, because we deserve to have amazing experiences. We don't
Yes.
deserve to be miserable and sad and lonely. No,
No.
that's no, no. We deserve to have, every person deserves to have amazing experiences all day long, every single day of their lives.
Yes.
And we have to be responsible to that. I think that that's
Absolutely.
where that's where the gray matter comes in, is like, we do not believe that we can have amazing experiences all day long, and that we're responsible for those amazing experiences, because it all
Completely
has to
agree.
do with our mind. It all has to
Yep.
do with, before you even go into a place, just say to yourself, I'm going to find the perfect thing here. Whatever you're looking for, I'm going to find the perfect clothing here, and the people are going to be just so helpful, and it's going to be at the perfect price, and the experience is just going to be phenomenal. Instead, what we do is, let's say we go into a store looking for clothing, and we're like, oh God, I hate to shop, and I hate this, and blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, your experience is going to reflect that, because you've already set it up that that's what's going to happen.
Yes. That is a
So
per-
we're responsible.
that is a
Go
perfect
ahead.
scenario, because I think every single person out there can relate to that, where the intention you have before you go makes or breaks your experience
Mhm.
and your expectations. If you just put it out there like, this is what I need to happen, it will happen for you. If you create any doubt, it's not going to happen for you. And if you put any expectations on it, it's also not going to happen for you. But if you just completely open your mind and your heart and say, this is what I'm looking for, this is my dollar amount, I'm going to get this today. And you know what? I guarantee you, you will find it because you are allowing yourselves to have that experience and let it come
Mhm.
into your life. You will be directed exactly to where you need to go. And I think that's what people take for granted. You know,
Exactly.
they completely sabotage themselves before they even get to that point. They have set themselves up for failure. So it is all about just being open to receiving. I think people
Mhm.
close them off to receive too, where they're not going to allow it to happen because they're just set themselves up for failure before it happens with the words we use because they are key to a lot of things in life.
Right. And they don't feel like they deserve it. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole underlying bottom, let's just say the hidden secret of, or the gap of where we are, right? Like I have a lot of clients who are not living their purpose right now because they're so afraid of their power. They're so afraid of being in flow. They're so afraid of, having the money that comes along with that. They're just afraid, and it's just an atrocity that we do to ourselves because we don't really believe that we can actually fulfill the mission and the purpose. I mean, a year ago, I would have never thought I would own a restaurant. Never
Same on
crossed my
that one.
mind. Didn't want to do all the work that's involved with it. We even talked about that before we purchased it, and it came up several different places in several different ways. And it was like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to do that. But here we are, and we're
I
freaking
know.
loving it,
We
and it's
are.
fulfilling. And the ideas just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. And we have this gigantic picture of what the big end result is going to look like because it
Yes.
is shifting 1 billion people. But this is where we had to start in order for that gigantic picture, the big picture, to actually be manifest. And
Yes.
it's because we did resist. I'm not going to lie. We did resist and say, yeah, I don't want to do all that kind of work. But it's really not work when we're, when we're putting in
No.
12-hour days, and it's like, oh gosh, it's like, we go home tired, but we're not exhausted. It's not
No.
like we are in flow. See, that's the point. We could put in these 12-hour days and still be fulfilled. And it's like, what can we improve? What can we do tomorrow? What can we, like, where can we grow and expand tomorrow? Right? Like, there's always
Yeah.
that whole idea and concept. It never goes away,
Yep.
even though we go home physically tired.
Yep.
So, but there's no more resistance on our parts. I'm going to say there's no more resistance on our part, and the big
No.
picture is just coming to us. Like everything just is laying in our laps, and it's easy,
Yeah.
so easy.
It's just happening. And we just flow with it too. Yeah, in the beginning we did
Mm-mm.
have that little resistance, but I think it was because we didn't see the big picture in the very beginning. Um, but like as things played out, both of us were like, no, we don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. But at the end of it, we were like, oh, I get it. Like I get why we need to do this
Mm-hmm.
now. And it just kind of happened. And now you're right though, like now that we are doing it, it doesn't feel like work at all. I mean, we're there 12 hours a day. We have a fabulous time all day long. And honestly, the only reason why we're tired is because our feet hurt because we've been standing up for 12 hours. As far as like, like mentally though, like, I mean, I still wake up the next day and I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do today? Like we're excited for what we're gonna
Yeah.
create. That's how you know that you're in flow. It's not work, it's flow. Is you literally enjoy every part of it. I mean, most people would be like, oh my gosh, I've been working 60, 70-hour weeks. I'm so dog tired. And it's not like that. I still only sleep like 5 hours a day because my mind don't like really shut off. And I'm still not tired. I'm just like, okay, what are we going to do today? What can we
Mm-hmm.
create today? Even though it's the weekend. Yeah, we kind of didn't do too much yesterday, but today I'm working on stuff all day. Yeah, I might not be standing up, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like work. It's like, okay, I need to get this done today. Let's create this today. Then this week, we're already thinking ahead. We have so many things planned, so much stuff do we want to do. And it's not just for us, like we want to shift the consciousness and show people how amazing it is to like know yourself and live in flow and have passion for everything that you do. That's what life is about. It is about
Yes.
living in bliss and being in flow and giving people the best experience they could have and pour as much love into it for them to pour love into others also. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to bring it back to the big picture. Like, I don't think we saw the giant picture until we said yes to the work,
I completely agree.
And
Yep.
I don't
And
think that was
actually,
actually,
I don't
I
know
don't
if
think it
we
was actually a
even,
vision.
it wasn't
Go
a vision
ahead.
until we actually bought the facility. And then
Yes.
after we did that, that's when it just grew
Mm-hmm.
and grew and grew and grew. And now
Yeah.
we can't wait for the whole big picture.
I know. I know. Exactly. So yeah, so see, this is what the projection was. Like, we had some resistance, and the projection was, okay, we really want to do this portion of it, but we don't really want to do the food portion because we don't really, it was that was the work for us. That was the part that was going to be work, and we're like, no, we just want to just have it all.
Yeah.
Well, we are having it all. Actually, we are having it all, and it does have everything to do with the food, because that is the initial awakening component. Is what we've been showing now is when the body is fed properly, and it can project properly, and so
Yes.
and so I think that that's one of the key components to our topic today, is that, yeah, what we project out to the world affects absolutely everyone, um, but what affects you, right? Like, what affects you, so that you can become aware, and you can actually control and create your own energy form. So what
Yes.
feeds you? Like, you know the big picture is what was feeding us, and we knew that there was something else that was going to come in and be shown to us, um, and we had to say yes to the work. We're humans, we have to say yes to the work. We also had to see ourselves as the creators of the shift in consciousness. I think that was another one of the keys to the big picture.
Yep.
But we were ready to project what needed to be projected, and because we have an awareness about that, like our facility, you can feel it when you enter the building. We've had many people say that to us, that they could feel how different it is, the minute that they step out of their vehicles to get into the facility. So, we're very conscious about those kinds of things. We do want people to have the most amazing experience because they deserve it.
Yes, they do. You should have amazing experiences all day, every day. And if you're not, seriously, reach out to Angela and Arx. We would love to help you have them experiences every day or understand how you can have them every day. So until next
Yes.
time, from our soul to yours, have a super fantastic day.